Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a second video for adding and subtracting rational expressions. So in this video, you'll just find more examples from class or from the previous video. I did put the steps up here, but just a reminder, denominators must be the same before you can add or subtract any fractions. And then there you can see the steps. Those are straight out of our notes. Once we've combined the fractions in step 3, step 4, we're then going to go through this simplifying. And here you can kind of see the plan of attack with simplifying. FOIL, distribute, combine like terms, factor, then cancel. Also made a note for you there that you can only cancel on most cases if you have factored first. So here's our first example. All in example 1, the denominators are already going to be the same. We're going to kind of gradually work into this. So if the denominators already match, like in example 1, you'll see that I have 7x on the denominator and 7x. If the denominators already match, I'm able to go straight to combining them to one fraction. So with addition or subtraction, once you have the same denominator, you're going to combine those and keep the denominator. We do not add the denominator. So I'm going to combine this first fraction, numerator, 5x plus 5, plus the second fraction numerator, 2x plus 3. So my new numerator will be 5x plus 5. That's fraction 1 plus 2x plus 3. And that is fraction 2. Now that I've gotten those, I've got it to one fraction, I'm going to combine up like terms. So 5x plus 2x is going to give me a 7x. So I can combine up like terms. And then 5 plus 3 is going to give me 8 over 7x. Now, word of caution. Some students will want to cancel those. However, the 7x do not cancel because that 7x is touching addition. And so this will be my final answer. All right, the second one is going to look similar except it's subtraction. So I put that little note up at the top for you. When you are subtracting, you must put the second numerator in parentheses when combining, because what this says is negative 5x minus 4 divided by x plus 5 minus this entire fraction. So minus the quantity x plus 2 over x plus 5. And so those parentheses really do matter going forward. And we're going to see that several examples in the notes, in the homework, in this video, in the previous video. With subtraction, you have to put the second numerator in parentheses when you combine those. But before I can combine those, I do have to check. Yes, my denominators are the same, so that's good. That means I can go straight to combining them. And so I'll have my first numerator, negative 5x minus 4, minus, that's that big subtraction sign that I highlighted, the whole second numerator, x plus 2. And then all over that common denominator of x plus 5. Just make a note that we are not adding denominators. Whatever that common denominator is, that's going to carry through and be the denominator once I combine them. Again, just make note of those parentheses. If you forget the parentheses, your signs will be wrong, and then therefore your final answer will be wrong. So I have negative 5x minus 4. That's this first fraction minus x plus 2, which is my second fraction, in parentheses because it is a quantity being subtracted. Now from here, I'm going to distribute that negative because now I'm working on combining like terms, and I can't combine like terms until these parentheses are gone. So I will have that second part will be negative x, distribute the negative sign to the 2, which will make that negative 2. Carry everything else down. Now I am combining like terms. So I've got negative 5x plus negative 1x is going to give me negative 6x. And then negative 4 plus negative 2 is going to give me negative 6 all over x plus 5. Now that I have distributed, combined up like terms, I'm going to look, does it factor? Well, I do have a GCF, so I have a negative 6 that I could pull out of both of them and leave me with x plus 1 all over x plus 5. Now, nothing cancels because x plus 1 and x plus 5 are not the same, so you could leave it here, but Hawks is actually going to want you to leave it in this pre-factored form. And the reason Hawks wants you to leave it there is because it doesn't cancel. So they don't want you to really leave it with the negative 6 out front. However, if you were to leave it like this for the test, I would accept that. But just note, in the homework, they're going to want you to leave it there. They only want you to factor it if something does indeed cancel. However, both of those are correct in terms of the right answer. All right, example 2. I'm now getting a little bit more difficult. So I've got x plus 4 over 3y minus y over 9x. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is, do the denominators match? No, I've got 3y and 9x. So now I'm going to find my LCD. So this is the first one in this video where we're seeing that the denominators do match. So I'm looking for, do they already have something in common? Well, 3 and 9 have a 3 in common, which would now make that 3 times 3x, if you were to write it like that. Okay, so they already have a 3 in common. So I have this 3 and this 3, or whichever 3. Now this denominator, I need a y over here in my LCD. This denominator, I took care of the 3 already, that highlighted 3, but I still need another 3 and an x. And so my LCD is going to be the product of y times 3 times 3 times x, or 9xy. Now that says that I need to make both, my steps say that now I need to make both of my denominators 9xy. So I'm asking myself, what do I need to multiply by to get 9xy? So let's look at the first one. 3y. So I have a 3y. What do I need to multiply 3 by to get to 9? Well, I need to multiply top and bottom by 3. And then I have y. I need it to be xy. So I need to multiply this thing also by a x. So I need to multiply top and bottom by 3x. And to check that, 3x times 3y is indeed 9xy. And then I'm just going to write that up top, and we'll deal with it in the next step. And so I've really just multiplied by the same thing on top and bottom. Second fraction, I have 9x and I need 9xy. So 9, I don't need to multiply by anything to get to 9. X, I don't need to multiply by anything to get to x, but I do need a y on the top and bottom. And so I will multiply both of these, top and bottom, by y. And so now my second fractions, the denominators do match, which is good. I have 9xy, 9xy. So now I can combine those to one fraction. So I have that 3x, x plus 4, minus y times y, all over 9xy. All right, from there, it's going to be just a matter of distributing, combine like terms, FOIL, any of that kind of stuff. Well, in this first one, I can distribute. 3x times x is going to give me 3x squared. And then 3x times 4 is going to give me 12x. Here, negative, well, y times y is y squared, so I'll have minus or negative y squared all over 9xy. I'm looking for any like terms I can combine on the numerator. So I've got 3x squared plus 12x minus y squared. There's no like terms. There's nothing that all three of them have in common in terms of factoring. And so because I can't factor, I cannot cancel. So this is my final answer. Caution, students will want to cancel those two, but I can't cancel because that is touching addition. So that is indeed my final answer. If you see addition or subtraction signs in your numerator, you cannot cancel unless you have factored. All right, so example 3 is going to be a little bit more complicated than we've seen up to now. And so my fraction is x minus 5 over 4x squared minus 3x minus 10 and minus 6x plus 4 over 3x squared minus 4x minus 4. I think I said that correctly. If not, there it is on the screen. First thing I notice, denominators are not the same. So because the denominators are not the same, I have to go through my LCD to find a common denominator. So I want you to pause the video, take a second, and factor both of those denominators. All right, so hopefully you factored them. Now here's your check. So when I factor those denominators, the one on the left, I get x minus 2 times 4x plus 5. So I'm going to replace that with x minus 2 times 4x plus 5. The denominator on the right, I get this one, or x minus 2, 3x plus 2. And so I'm going to rewrite those denominators to now have the factored form because I'm working on finding the LCD. The LCD is going to be what is the smallest number that I can multiply by both of them to get to, essentially. So I use the Venn diagrams to kind of get us there. When I'm looking at these two denominators, I'm asking, is there something they already both have in common? Yeah, they both have this x minus 2, so I'm going to write that in the middle of my Venn diagram. And then I'm looking at this fraction on the left. Well, what is it missing that I need to write in the Venn diagram? It's missing this 4x plus 5. And the one on the right, it's missing this 3x plus 2. So now from there, my LCD is going to be the product of all of these. So my LCD will be 4x plus 5, x minus 2, and 3x plus 2. All of that is my LCD. So essentially, in those steps we wrote down in class, or that were at the very beginning of this video, that is step 1. All right, so step 2 says I'm going to make the denominators match the LCD. And so I need to rewrite these fractions so that this over here on the right is the denominator. So I'll have that there and that one there. All right. So now I'm looking at my fraction. Here's my original fraction. On the denominator, I had x minus 2 4x plus 5. What do I need to multiply by to make that denominator 4x plus 5, x minus 2, 3x plus 2? Well, what it's missing from the LCD is that 3x plus 2. So I need to multiply top and bottom by 3x plus 2, 3x plus 2. So what I'll have is that original numerator, x minus 5, it needs to go in parentheses because it is a quantity, minus the second one. So here was my original fraction, 6x plus 4 over x minus 2, 3x plus 2. Here's the denominator I need. So the one that I am missing is this 4x plus 5. So I need to multiply top and bottom by 4x plus 5, 4x plus 5. And then that thing. All right, so I've made my denominators match. And now this is just going to be a whole bunch of algebra. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to go ahead and combine these, and then we'll start simplifying in terms of FOIL, distribute, combine up like terms, factor, all of that stuff. So I get lazy. In place of that 4x plus 5, x minus 2, 3x plus 2, in place of these denominators, you're just going to see me until the end of the problem write the word LCD or the letters LCD. Just know that wherever you see LCD, it actually means this whole thing should be in its place. But just for sake of time, I'm going to write this as all over the LCD, which are those three parentheses. All right, so here we go. This matches. So because this matches, I can take my numerators and I can combine them to one big fraction. So I've got the LCD on the bottom already. Now what I need is all of this stuff on top. So that's my first fraction. And then minus, because that's the sign between them. And remember, something special is going to happen with the minus. Minus this thing. 6x plus 4, 4x plus 5. That's my second fraction. All right, so now to simplify these, we need to do a whole bunch of foiling, a whole bunch of combining like terms. So I'm going to actually kind of work off to the side. So we'll call this the side. I need to FOIL x minus 5, 3x plus 2. So first, outer, inner, last. First is going to be 3x squared. Outer is going to be 2x. Inner is going to be minus 15x. And then last is going to be minus 10. Okay, so that's just this part. Let's see if I can somehow make this. That is this part right here. Combine up like terms, so I'll have 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. That is now going to go up here where I had that blue box. So where I had that thing, I've replaced it with the FOILed form. All right, I'm going to FOIL this one. Same thing. I'll FOIL that one over here. And so I've got 6x plus 4 times 4x plus 5. I'm going to FOIL that one. Add in a new page. All right, so I'm going to FOIL this. First, 6x times 4x, 24x squared. Outer 6x times 5 is going to give me 30x. Inner 4 times 4 is going to give me, 4 times 4x is going to give me 13x. And then 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. Combine up like terms. I didn't label those. Combine up like terms is going to give me 46x plus 20. And then my 24x squared. Now, where I had that green box, I'm going to replace it with the one I just found. Oops. I'm going to slide that over. So now I'm going to replace that one with 24x squared plus 46x plus 20 all over the LCD. All right, so now I'm looking for a whole bunch of like terms to combine. So I'm going to try to do this with some colors or boxes and circles to kind of make this, I don't know, a little bit easier to follow. I almost forgot. This that I just put in, this part right here, remember way back up here, that was all being subtracted. So before I do any like term combining, I have to distribute that negative because I had to FOIL first and then change the sign. And so that's going to actually be negative 24x squared negative 46x and negative 20. And then I have all of that over the LCD. All right, so now we're actually going to combine up like terms. That should be 24x squared. So I've got my x squareds I can combine. I'll do those in circles. Maybe that'll make it easier to see. 3x squared minus 24x squared. So positive 3x squared minus 24x squared is going to give me negative 21x squared. My next one, negative 13. Change the color there. Negative 13x minus 46x is going to give me negative 59x. And then the last one, negative 10 and negative 20 is going to give me a negative 30 all over the LCD. Now from there, I'm going to look for if anything will factor. I'm going to assume something's going to factor. So I know I can at least take out a negative sign. And then I'm looking to see if there's a GCF. So it doesn't look like 59 doesn't divide 3. So no, I could technically take out a negative, which would give me 21x squared plus 59x plus 30 all over the LCD of x. I already lost my LCD. 4x plus 5. X minus 2, 3x plus 2. I'm thinking that factors. So let's look for my factors. So I've got 21 times 30. I need to get a calculator out. 21 times 30 is, 30 is going to give me 630. Holy cow, I'm going to need more room. All right, so now we're factoring the top. So 21x squared plus 59x plus 30. So with rainbow, that's going to give me 630. So I'm looking for factors of 630 that will add to 59. Holy cow. The good news is on your test, they will not be nearly this large. So we are working off to the side. We're looking for numbers that will multiply to 630 and add to 59. And I'm just trying to find the actual how this thing factors out to. So upon factoring, thankful to computer programs. Now, I wouldn't give you this big of a question on the test. But this thing does factor, and according to a computer program, it tells me it factors to 3x plus 2 times 7x minus 15 all over my LCD of 4x plus 5x minus 2, 3x plus 2. So that technically, what would you do? That thing you would factor using rainbow, but just for sake of time, I just typed it into my calculator. It factored it for me. We wouldn't have these large of numbers on the test. But now that I have factored, I do see that the x plus 2's, or sorry, the 3x plus 2's would cancel. And so my final answer would be negative 7x minus 15 over 4x plus 5 and x minus 2. Or you could distribute that negative and leave it as negative 7x plus 15 over that denominator, 4x plus 5 over x minus 2. Either one of those would be correct. I would accept either one. But that was quite an exhaustive problem. So hopefully this has helped you get through a little bit on the homework. As you have questions, though, of course, reach out to me.